Oh hi there, remember me? I used to make videos and shit. Can we just pretend that was an apology for not posting in so long and just go on with the video? I'm not that big on preludes. So a couple days ago, after watching an episode of Dexter, I posted this on my Facebook and Twitter.
Disappointing how the only true atheist in Dexter is an annoying prick. With Christianity they show both sides, the fanatics and the decent.
And after receiving some replies, I followed my message with this post.
About my tweet yesterday, sorry to burst your bubble, but Dexter is not an atheist. Both him and Deborah are different levels of agnostics.
And this created a total shitstorm in the comments, with people arguing that all agnostics are technically atheists, and others saying that all atheists are actually agnostics, and blah blah blah. Just a quick side note, if you never watched Dexter or you never even heard of the show, I'm sorry. And I literally mean that I feel sorry for you. You must be such a sad, sad person. So sad. So I just want to address this entire atheist versus agnostic battle of the labels thing just because I've had so many people telling me that I'm in fact an agnostic atheist, even when I clearly explain to them that I cannot identify as such. And I think it's about time for these people to let it go and chill the fuck out. Preferably on the bottom of the ocean, with their lifeless corpse chopped in several pieces and stuffed into ecological garbage bags. I'm just saying. Now the reason this subject pisses me off is because the people who usually argue it tend to indulge in this philosophical masturbation until words pretty much lose their value. And I think the value of words is given by how people use them, not necessarily by their written definitions. I mean, this is why definitions change over time, because people start using words in different ways. So of course at some point you're gonna have several definitions for the same word that lead to different interpretations. Now, by the weakest possible definition, atheism is just a lack of belief in God or gods. And a lack of belief is not necessarily the same thing as disbelief. And if you go by this definition, basically anyone who's not a professed theist can rationalize calling himself an atheist. And what bugs me about this is that it renders the concept of agnosticism unnecessary because all agnostics are automatically labeled atheists. And I don't see the point in this. I think agnosticism should be recognized as a different view from atheism, because it is a different view. So, what are your views on God? I am agnostic. Oh, are you now? And what do you mean by that? Well, I really don't know if there is a God or not. I mean, a lot of things in the Bible and other holy books just don't make any sense. And the theistic gods I've read about so far seem rather ridiculous, to be honest. But, you know, I'm still wondering, still reading up on it. I have doubts. Sometimes I pray. You're an atheist. Dude, I'm not an atheist. Oh, yes you are, because my definition is better than yours. And also, I got a bigger dick. What? Pound! I mean, just what is the point to define a word in a way that makes it virtually synonymous with another word that actually means something different? Are you, like, following me right now? I'm not sure I am.
What are you even saying?
As for agnosticism, the weakest definition of an agnostic is somebody who thinks we can never have full knowledge about the existence or non-existence of God. Isn't this lovely? By this definition, anyone who's not a theist is an agnostic. Nobody can be an atheist, because who the hell can claim absolute certainty over the non-existence of something that is by its nature unfalsifiable? I mean, this just invalidates the concept of atheism, and again, what's the need for this? So, what are your views on God? I'm an atheist. Well, you wanna know what I think? Not really. Okay, so what I think is that you just don't realize you are an agnostic. All atheists are in fact agnostics, because nobody can claim they know for sure there is no God, you see? Pound! I don't wanna know what you think. I don't wanna know you exist. Please go get yourself killed with a chainsaw, like now, please. Do you see what my problem is? Using broad definitions like that simply makes words mean nothing. I mean, what's the reason to make generalizations that put people in boxes where they don't fit in and where they don't wanna be? I mean, if somebody identifies as an agnostic for whatever reasons, maybe they have doubts about the existence of God, or maybe they think they don't know enough yet to make up their mind, or maybe they just don't give a shit if there is a God or not. then you are in no position to go all up in their business and start pissing in their cereal by telling them they're just pussy atheists. This is quite a strong label to have, and you cannot just enforce it upon people who cannot identify with it. And it is equally frustrating to keep telling people they're agnostic when they're clearly not. Now, in those posts I said that Dexter must be at least somewhat agnostic, because in this season anyway he did express some sort of doubts about God, but most importantly, when his son was in the hospital, he prayed. And atheists don't pray. And now don't give me no crap. Atheists don't pray, not even in moments of weakness. Okay, before you start typing your angry comment, just let me ask you this. If you truly wanted something, and no matter what that something was, you just really desperately wanted it, would you consider writing a letter to Santa? You know, to ask him to bring that to you as a gift for Christmas? And I'm not kidding, I'm actually serious right now. I want you to think about it. Can you imagine yourself writing down the words and folding the paper and putting it in an envelope and writing the delivery address, right, to Santa Claus, North Pole, and then mailing that? Would you ever do something like this? You know, in a moment of weakness, just in case. Because this is exactly how I personally feel about prayer. And if I am agnostic about God, then you are agnostic about Santa Claus. And you know you're not. And I am aware this may sound like fundamentalism to some people who are not incredibly bright, because I am someone who says there is no God. I don't just say I lack a belief in God, I don't just say I live my life as if there was no God, but I said flat out, there is no God out there. And no, this is not fundamentalism, and my position is not dogmatic. A dogma is an unchangeable belief, and I would change my beliefs if I had any reason to. If I saw any kind of scientific evidence or heard any philosophical argument that would make me have any doubts, then I would call myself agnostic. However, until that day comes, if ever, this label doesn't define me at all. I am agnostic about a lot of other things. I'm agnostic about the existence of intelligent alien life. I'm agnostic about Tom Cruise's sexual orientation. I am not agnostic about God. In fact, I don't believe in anything of supernatural origin. If you wanna know why, you can watch my video called Spirituality. Or instead, you can just have all your blood drained by a sadistic killer. I don't give a fuck.
How does he do it? How does the killer get rid of the blood?
It's hard to say.
Now, I know there will be people replying to this video pushing this idea that we don't really know anything, therefore everything is possible, all atheists are agnostics, blah blah blah. And I don't want to upset anybody, I'm sure they're all intelligent, fine people. I just think they're trying to be so open-minded that their brain starts falling out. If you apply this definition of agnosticism to any other context but God, to some other superstitious belief, it just becomes preposterous. Okay, so what do you think about the invisible, undetectable elves living up your ass? There are no such things? Well, you say that, but technically you don't really know. Because you cannot claim to have absolute knowledge about something that is undetectable. See? That makes you an agnostic. Pwned. Yeah, well, just trust me on this, okay? I am not agnostic about invisible, undetectable, but elves. Oh, yes you are, because you don't really know. Would you ever have this kind of conversation? And I know there are people who identify as agnostic atheists, and I have no beef with them. There are people who identify as agnostic theists, because I don't know, they have doubts about God, but they still practice Christianity, whatever. So I'm not saying that there's no such thing as an agnostic atheist. I'm just saying that I am not one myself. I'm just as agnostic about God as you are about butt elves. And you know there's no point to put the agnostic label in front of your disbelief, because leaving all this philosophical bullshit aside, you know, okay? You know that there are no fucking elves living up your ass. The word agnostic here has no value and no relevance and no anything. The main difference here is just that there are a lot more people who believe in gods. And even with non-believers, I mean, most of us did at some point in the past belong to one religion or another. So I can understand why you may not perceive the idea of God to be just as ridiculous as the idea of butt elves. However, I do. This is where I am right now. And this is where a lot of other people are right now. And you need to understand this, and you need to stop telling me and stop telling them that we are in fact agnostics. Just like you need to stop telling agnostic people that they are just coward atheists. It is unproductive and unnecessary and annoying as all hell, and it just makes me want to cut off your fucking arm and slap you over the face with it. I think I'm done.